Hi, I'm Jodi Guerra with Excelsior Classes, and this is another installment of Book Banter, a video blog in which we tell you what you should be reading next. This is a continuation, or it's part 2 of a previous installment regarding animal stories. In this installment, we'll be discussing animal stories for more mature readers, for example, high school age and up. And my first selection was a story that was tied to one we recommended for children, and this one is called Zurafa. Zurafa. It is by Michael Allen. Now, his last name is spelled A-L-L-I-N. Now, the subtitle of the story, Zurafa, is A Giraffe's True Story from Deep in Africa to the Heart of Paris. Now, interestingly, Michael Allen is both, an author, but wrote many screenplays. Several of you may recognize Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, right? Well, that was written by Michael Allen. And this story is about one of the first giraffes in Europe. She was a very small giraffe who was captured in Africa. I think it was in Sudan, what is modern-day Sudan, and was a gift to the French king. And so this book, it is just really one of the most interesting books I've ever read, because it ties together history and geography and political science and zoology all into one. I mean, it is just a really interesting read. And this little Zurafa, oh my goodness, she just captures your heart. This little giraffe. It's a very sweet story and exceedingly interesting. Again, it's a pretty slim little book. So not a very long read, but just very interesting. So that's one that I just really loved. Another one, I mean, okay, who doesn't love horses, right? I mean, who doesn't love horses? This one is Seabiscuit. And this is written by probably one of the best authors living in America right now for nonfiction, Laura Hillenbrand. Phenomenal researcher, phenomenal writer. Everything she does is just golden. And she in herself is just an interesting person. But let's just focus on Seabiscuit, who basically was the Michael Jordan of the Depression. Thousands of people would line up just to watch his practice sessions at the track. And again, we've talked before about underdogs. Well, this is the story of a true underdog at a time when everyone felt like underdogs during the Great Depression. This is more than just a book about a horse, though. It's also about the people around the horse. It's also about the United States at this time. And man, is it a compelling story, exceedingly well researched. You will enjoy it. You certainly will enjoy this book. Again, Seabiscuit, they did make a movie of it. You might have seen it. But I will tell you that because of all of the detail that Laura Hillenbrand is able to incorporate, that book is better than the movie. Okay, another book about animals for the older set, H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald. This book has won many awards. It was one of the New York Times Book Review's top 10 best books of the year a few years ago. I think it was 2015. And this book, Helen McDonald is British. She is actually dealing with the death of her father rather unexpectedly. Helen had grown up with a great love of hawks and falconry. And after her dad dies, she gets a hawk, goes out and gets a hawk. And just the story is really about her grief process. But even more, it is also about falconry and what falconry does for people. So again, just like in Zurafa, and also in Seabiscuit, this is not just a story about grief. It's not just a story about falconry. I mean, it's just so intertwined. And Helen McDonald is a beautiful writer. One of the things I found when I was reading this book was just You know, sometimes when you read authors that are not American authors, just they stretch your vocabulary. You know, just words that I didn't know. Also, the terms of falconry, of which I was just completely unaware. This book does have a few mature things I think for a homeschool audience you would want to use caution with. But again, nothing horrible, but just be aware of it, okay? Lovely, lovely book, lovely book. And finally, another book about birds. And this one is funny. It is a funny book. And man, is it interesting. It is called Big Year. Big Year. It is by Mark Obamsick. The subtitle of the book is A Tale of Man, Nature, and Fowl Obsession. And fowl is spelled F-O-W-L. So witty. I love a good pun. Anyway, if you saw on this book cover, it says soon to be a major motion picture. It, you know, I think it was with Steve Martin and some other people. I didn't go see it because this book, like the others, is so chock full of science, so chock full of just interesting nuggets of information about birds, about migratory patterns. I mean, it's just full of things that you just are amazing facts. So the Big Year is a competition among birders. And so a big year is when birders, these people that are out watching birds with the binoculars and, you know, their little recording and cameras and everything else, whoever can find the most birds in North America. And it's not just, you know, the United States, but it's this continental area. So some of it stretches down into Mexico, up through Canada, etc. So it's just, these things are affected by, you know, weather patterns and things like that. So El Nino and La Nina, all of that stuff can affect how many birds one can see. And so what Mark Obamsick does is he really watches about, you know, kind of catalogs 3 to 4 different people who are on this quest. And I'm still amazed that he was able to do this in such a way and write in such a way that it really elucidates what these birders are trying to do and the great lengths that they go to try to find these birds. Again, it's one of those that just ties so many things, so many different fields, seemingly disparate fields, into one tight package. And this one, it's rather funny. There are times when he's writing this that you're just chuckling out loud. So I just loved it. Again, I didn't see the movie because I thought there's just no way to replicate all of the science and all the wonderful things that are in the book into the movie. And I just didn't want it to lessen my experience of the book. So I hope that you'll check out these 4 books about animals for more mature readers. Like our channel. I hope you'll subscribe for more updates, and we'll have more recommendations for you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.